part of the Fans First Sports Network.
The Ranger Report, yeah, the Ranger Report. If you want the inside scoop, listen to the Ranger Report. Oh, here we go!
This is the Ranger Report Podcast. News, insights, predictions, interviews, and information about the Texas Rangers from the major leagues to the minor leagues. And now, here are your hosts, Ben Dieter and CJ Berryman.
Welcome to the Ranger Report Podcast. I am Ben Dieter. You can find me on Twitter at BDieter75.
I'm the coffee drinking CJ Berryman. You can find me at CJB_or on Twitter.
And of course, we are on the Fans First Sports Network, a part of that now, brought to you in part by Walton's and presented by Dallas Sports Nation right here on the Preferred Health Solutions online studio. So glad y'all are with us today. And don't forget to become a Patreon to get ad-free versions of the show and free swag and everything else we say every week.
I got some new swag. Some hickory swag.
Some hickory swag. That's not our swag, though. That's hickory swag. That's good stuff.
You'll get some of our swag. But
our swag is things like this shirt I'm wearing. So.
Yeah. So we're going to rip all levels of the Rangers.
We do.
Including ourselves.
Definitely rep ourselves.
Yes.
All right. I wanted to start tonight with a Jacob deGrom update since we haven't talked about him in a long time. And there's not a lot to it other than CJ. He's throwing bullpens now and starting to, they said he's progressing the way they want him to.
It's a good thing that we haven't talked about him much. And and the reason is, if we would be talking about him, it's either A, he was out for the season, or B, the Rangers rotation was sucking and we'd be clawing and scratching to get Jacob deGrom back. So I took my own advice. I hope y'all were listening to me when we did the podcast right after he got hurt. I pretended he wasn't on the team.
Yep.
And the Rangers have given me a good reason and to just pretend he's not there, because he's not, and they're still rocking and rolling. And it's been a lot of fun.
Think about this. We're recording this on June 3rd on a Saturday night. The Rangers are currently playing the Mariners, and Andrew Heaney had a bad game. And he still gave up 3 runs. Like, that's a bad. We're considering 3 runs a bad game. Like, what in the heck?
Wasn't able to go 5, but
last year 3 runs we'd have been thrilled if a starter gave up only 3 runs.
Yeah, last year, especially 2 years ago.
Yeah, we'd have been thrilled if they only gave up 3 runs. So here we are talking about Heaney having a bad start. But yeah, you're right. Nathan Eovaldi won pitcher of the month with a sub-1 ERA in the month of May. Of course, we all know what he did. And then you look at Dane Dunning has been filthy in the month of May. Well, pretty much since taking over for deGrom.
Yep.
I mean, everybody has been fantastic. Martin Perez has struggled a little bit, but the Rangers are putting up 15 runs a game for him, so it's okay.
And the bullpen lately has been really good. Looks a lot better, especially that Jose Leclerc guy. He's starting to look like the Jose Leclerc he's the guy that they signed that extension to.
Yeah, definitely. He is definitely looking better.
Like that guy. And
so anyway,
it's good to see 4 Ks today.
Yep. That is the deGrom update. He is looking. He is on the path to come back. We still don't have a deadline or a date on when he's going to come back, but he is progressing the way the Rangers were hoping that he would.
And right now, he can take his sweet time.
Yeah, I mean, he can. They want him in September. They want him in September and October.
Yeah, no rush. Make sure he's 100% full go. Let him get a couple starts in to build up his arm again in the minors, and if you get him a start or 2 or 3 in the minors, build up that pitch count, and then unleash him whenever he's ready, and let's go.
And by the way, I'm not saying the Rangers will be playing in October. I'm just saying they are definitely trending in that direction.
They're trending in that direction, and they're preparing. I mean, they're 100% full. I'm gonna, Bochy, Bruce Bochy's flat out saying we're playing to win, and I'm going to manage to win, and that's how I'm going to manage the roster as well. And that also is going to that exact topic is going to come up again here in just a minute.
It exactly is, yeah. But they are definitely. I mean, right now if they stay on the pace they're at, they're going to win 105 games. So that's. I mean, I think you're going to make the playoffs, and I also don't think they're going to win 105 games. But you know. They're I mean, like I said, if they go 500 for the rest of the year now, at this point, that'd be 90 something wins, 95, something like that. So I think they'll be all right. All right, let's do our normal week in review from Rangers baseball. So the Rangers had another successful trip, and you can't talk about that trip with talking about the major league debut of one Grant Anderson.
That's what I was talking about just a minute ago. We were going to talk about the roster and how they managed the roster. You saw just how, I know we talked about him a little bit, but nobody thought that Grant Anderson would be the guy coming up. Nobody thought that Ricky Benasco would be the guy getting DFA'd to make room for him on the roster.
He's one that we really hadn't spent much time on.
No, and then you see, I've read that he had a ridiculous strikeout in the minors, rate.
He did.
And he was striking out, I think it was 37% of batters.
Yeah.
That's insanity. And then he comes up here and in his debut strikes out 7 2 2/3. I mean, good God almighty. And then comes in that high leverage situation last night, 1-0 in the 8th inning.
Yeah, exactly.
Bochy goes right to him, and what does he do? He does his thing. In.
Yeah.
So reinforcement from the minor leagues. We were talking more about the Chase Lees, guys like that.
Yeah.
And no, Grant Anderson's a guy. Joe Barlow we did talk about, and so it's awesome to see. And it kind of it flipped the switch on me again. To me, it highlighted Taylor Hearn again.
Yeah.
Because these guys are getting the bullpen's been a shuffle a little bit lately. And he's not even been involved. And we talked about it. He's got to be able to throw strikes. He's got to be able to throw more strikes.
His ERA is really low. But like you said, he's walked or hit way too many people at AAA.
Way too many. And so, but it's awesome to see that there's still depth around him. And there's no saying Taylor can't get it all together and be and a reinforcement of an arm out of the bullpen later on. So it's just a good situation right now. Grant Anderson, man. How about that windup?
Man. That delivery is weird. I mean, obviously they had trouble picking it up in that first game against Detroit.
And that 2-seam fastball, you hear I don't know. I always say it, 2-seam fastball with some hair. That's a 2-seam fastball with some hair. That's
most assured.
Comes back to the plate, into lefties, back to the plate, away from righties, back into righties.
Yep.
Just wicked stuff.
That's some nasty stuff. And other news today, which broke today, is to make room for Mitch Garver coming back. Bubba got sent down because Bubba is not getting every day at bats, and it's hurting his development, in my opinion. He's batting 173 in the majors. He's barely getting to play at all, and he's still developing. He's not like Sandy Leon, who's a veteran who's been around forever, who can sit for 5 days and then come in and play really good. And by the way, did you see the ERA that John Gray has when he's throwing to Sandy Leon? It's like 0.73, I believe.
So he might be the personal catcher for John Gray.
We've had that in the past.
Yes, we have, and especially if you go back in the day, Greg Maddux didn't. I won't say he didn't like throwing to Javi Lopez, but he liked throwing to their backup catcher. Yeah. So he had his personal backup, the catcher personally caught Greg Maddux every game, and I cannot remember the catcher's name. Yeah, it'll come to me, but yeah.
So anyway, Bubba got sent down, and I think, in my opinion, again, I love Bubba. We both do, and we've had him on this show. Good guy, but he needs those everyday reps and everyday at bats. He needs to get himself back into playing baseball every single day, and then maybe the Rangers will need him later. But that really happened because Ezekiel Duran has made himself indispensable at the major league level.
Right, and he's playing today. Comes right off the IL, right in there.
In his first at bat,
and it hit in his first at bat. He looks the same. Just a quick stop on the IL. Mitch Garver comes back. He got a base hit. Of course, everybody's hitting in this game.
So far, I was going to say they've scored 15 at this point that we're recording it, and it's not over yet.
Yeah. So and like you were saying with Bubba, you're right on. He hadn't played himself into as many at bats. And you're starting to get it filled up. But luckily, we got to see Josh Smith salvage kind of himself. I thought it would be one of them two.
I did too, yeah.
Bubba or Josh Smith, and then Josh Smith started forcing his way into the lineup.
Yeah, he's hitting a lot better than Bubba.
Yeah, he was struggling. He was hitting under 200.
Yeah,
and then obviously there was the question of who's going to play shortstop for Seager. Got thrown right out the window not long after Ezekiel Duran started playing short for him. And Josh Smith, he had to find a way to stay on the roster. I mean, we knew we were going to have guys coming back. Yeah, and he did. He took that challenge, and he did. I mean, he picked it up and he did very well. And so he's staying up. So now you're looking at the depth in the roster. And it's awesome. It's just awesome. And
You know, whenever we do a weekend review like this, I always try to find something wrong with the last week. There's not a lot to look at that the Rangers did wrong, except, I mean, obviously they blew a couple of games. And one thing I like that I read on Twitter, I can't remember who tweeted it at this point, I'll have to look it up, is that the Rangers were mad about the 2 game 3s that they lost, saying they should have won those games. And that's what good teams do. They don't accept, well, we took 2 out of 3.
they're not
right?
settling. They're like, hey, we took 2 or 3. They're pissed off because
they didn't take 3. Yeah, exactly. So that's what you want to hear from guys who are playing the way that they are right now.
Yep. And Charlie O'Brien.
Yeah. Charlie O'Brien.
It just dawned on me. Because we're talking Rangers, and it just popped right back into my head. Anyways, and I don't know. It's just been so fun because you're talking about how we're trying to find something that they've been doing wrong. Yeah. And the wrong is, well, they didn't sweep, that's not a big, it's really in reality, you took 2 or 3.
Yeah. If you win 66% of your games, that's pretty good.
Then you go back to the last 5 years, we're trying to find things that they've done right.
Exactly. Yeah.
During the week. So it's so fun to look at that and have to try to find something they've done wrong. Try to find something. And it's so much fun, and they are a whole lot of fun to watch right now. Like you put on Twitter, this team is just incredible at the moment.
Yeah, it's just, it really is. Like I said, I've been very skeptical about buying into it, but at this point, of the season, we're a third of the way through, and they've got the best record they've ever had at this point of the season. I'm not saying that this is the greatest Rangers team in history, but I'm saying that this team is headed in that direction to be one of the best we've ever had.
Yeah, and it just doesn't feel. Are you with me in this? It kind of I kind of feel the same, like man, maybe this isn't the greatest team or blah blah blah. Yeah. Maybe because it just happened like that.
Yeah, exactly. You and I both said 2024.
Yeah, and so now if this would have been happening with the 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013 Rangers, we wouldn't be surprised.
No, exactly.
No,
we started getting mad when they didn't make the playoffs.
Right. So we wouldn't have been surprised if they had, the greatest start in team history like they are right now. Yeah. And it's just, it's crazy.
It really is.
It's like, I feel like my emotions are trying to catch up with how they're doing.
Yeah. And I agree with you.
It's fun. It's just making it so much more fun.
All right. Speaking of doing really well, I just wanted to throw out there that All-Star voting has begun. Let's beat out the Yankees and Dodgers people by voting. You can vote 5 times a day with every email account you have. So get out there and vote for your Rangers. We'd like to see a
whole bunch of email accounts,
especially Jonah Heim. I'd love to see him make it, but Adolis needs to make it. Marcus Semien has to be an All-Star.
Marcus Semien. Yep. Obviously Eovaldi. Yeah. Josh Jung has a shot.
Yeah. But in my opinion, Jonah Heim was shafted last year. He needs to go this year.
He was shafted in a couple of ways last year, but he's been one of the best catchers in the American League. How can you not vote him in?
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing with Semien's been one of the best players in the whole league.
22 game hitting streak right now.
Yeah,
and he was 3 for 4 or 4 for 5 today. Which one was it?
He's 4 for 5 now.
He's 4 for 5 now. Yeah,
bomb he hit him.
Yeah, he's 4 for 5 today. Goodness gracious.
And he's hitting well above 300. He's playing Gold Glove second base.
Even Leote's hitting over 300. He's starting to play like we knew he could. Yeah. Leote had a boss. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of deserving All-Stars. So get out there and vote for your Rangers. Try to get them into that All-Star game.
Yeah, the ones I'd expect to see. Heck, you might see John Gray.
Yeah. Pitchers are picked by other pitchers.
I know, but what I'm saying is that the players and the powers that be that make those decisions, there might be a couple Rangers pitchers.
Well, they have 3 that legitimately deserve it, in my opinion, and that would be John Gray, and Nathan Eovaldi, and Dane Dunning.
Yeah.
All 3 of those guys deserve to be in the All-Star game.
No, they do. And Dane Dunning's obviously got a short leash because nobody knows who he is because of how bad they were the past couple of years. They don't realize that he was one of the staples of carrying the rotation.
He was.
Like we do, or anybody that even follows the Rangers just a little bit over the past couple of years knows who Dane Dunning is. But and if he has a bad outing, it's going to be recency bias. So he's got that against him. But heck, why not?
I got to say, CJ knows because I sent him to him. I wrote these notes yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And the note said Rangers prolific offense continues. And that was before today's game.
Put up 15 so far.
And then they put up 15 so far, and we're still in the 7th.
I think we're going to the 8th now.
Are we going to the 8th now? Okay, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, finally. The Rangers offense is still prolific. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean, they have, I think the highest, was it the highest or second highest MLB average per game, like in the last 100 years or something like that?
It's something like that. And they're on pace, obviously, to break that 10 plus runs per game record by a few games now.
Yeah.
So, man.
I mean, this offense is crazy good.
Cannot say enough.
I mean, we basically just went over all of it with Simeon. Nathaniel Lowe's doing good. Leote's doing good. Ezekiel Duran's doing good. Josh Jung has been rookie of the month for 2 straight months. I mean, this team, Jonah Heim is batting lights out. I mean, everybody is just, and I was afraid that when he cut his hair, that would mess him up. But no, he's batted great the last 2 nights.
Yeah. So. He went through that struggling time there and then cuts his hair. I don't know. You know how baseball players are. They're suspicious, but and he looks better. I'll say that he looks a lot better without the hair.
Well, you'll know what time we're recording this because Mitch Garver just hit a home run.
Yeah, he sure did.
That's the 4th one of the day for the team, not for Mitch Garver, obviously. But,
second deck. Welcome back, Mitch Garver.
No, welcome back, Mitch. He did. So there you go. The offense is still obviously extremely prolific, and like we've already said, the amazing thing is they did that for almost a month without Seager. So I mean, this team is built to win. Yeah,
they are. You look at, just look at last week. It started with an L against the Orioles. It's okay. The Orioles are really good. They'd already taken 2 games. You beat the Tigers, but they took 2 or 3. You did what you were supposed to. Again, that's one of the games, those are the 2 series. Really, I think. Obviously, the team was upset with themselves about. Yeah. Now they're going to take at least 2 of 3 from the Mariners.
Yep.
So, what a week it's been. And if you go, think about how many wins that you have. If you win, just say 2 of the 3 games that you play every day or every series. Yeah. If you win 2 of 3, or if you have a 4-game series, you win 4 or 5. Even if you have a 2-game series, that's like 120. Almost 130 wins if you look at it that way. So that's a good consistency, good consistent pace. Hey, take 2 or 3 each series. Yep. This Rangers team can.
Oh yeah, they can easily.
Yeah, they've been doing it.
I wanted to move on and mention Cody Bradford had a much better second start. He obviously learned from his first start, still pitching lights out in the minors.
Ronald Acuna and the Braves.
No, obviously, but I was happy that he came up and had a much better performance for his second one.
Oh yeah, he gave up a 2 in the first inning and then lights out the rest.
Yep.
And he just, I'm not afraid of Cody Bradford pitching in on our roster for many years to come. My concern right now isn't even how he's performing. My concern is that he's been the best pitcher in the minor league system all throughout, and there's going to be a lot of teams calling on him.
Yes, there are. Yes, there are.
I'm afraid that we might lose him. And, there's some pitchers that, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I wouldn't have said this coming into the season, but I'm afraid he's a guy that I want to stay no matter what. I wouldn't trade him.
Same here.
He would be on my no trade list.
In my opinion, even though he's in the majors right now, in my opinion, he's jumped Cole Reagans. I think he's jumped him as far as value? As far as value.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
And because he's not afraid of it. He goes out there and he looked exactly the same in both of the starts.
He did. You're right.
He did in AAA. Not afraid, throwing the same pitches, having the same approach. All of it was the same. He didn't get rattled. He didn't change his game plan because he was getting hit hard early against Atlanta. He stayed the course, and he stayed the course in his second time.
Yep.
So that's a guy that I want. That's a guy that you want every 5th day coming out. Whether he's your number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 starter, he wouldn't be the ace of your staff.
No,
but he's going to go out there and do what he did the other day, and he's going to go out there and in his bad games, it's like a Kobe Lewis type, go out there, and if he has bad games, he's still going to give you 6 and give the offense a chance. So I don't want to see it. I don't want to see him traded.
No,
but
I don't either.
Obviously, everybody's on the table when it comes to trade deadline.
Well, and the need for bullpen help, although they're doing better now, it's still there. Like this bullpen is still going to go through ups and downs, and they need Will Smith not to be the only experienced guy at the end of the bullpen. They need a little more help out there.
Yeah, I'd say if they're going to be serious contenders, I've said it at the very beginning of the season. I'm still saying it now. They need to add 2 power arms, 2 backup bullpen power arms. And I was surprised to see today they put up the statistic of, and it might be, I don't know, but the Rangers are actually the 4th highest team in as far as bullpen average velocity, and that surprised the hell out of me. Yeah. But because I see Jonathan Hernandez, as being really the only one throwing upper 90s. Well,
no, Cole Reagan's too. Yeah, Cole Reagan's too.
Aside from those two, but I guess they're hitting 95, 96 with consistency. That 97, 98, sometimes 99 from Hernandez. Consistently. So that's surprising to see. But again, they flat out don't have that power arm that you can bring in the 8th or 9th. It's going to go out there and he's going to be hitting 98, 99, 100.
Yeah.
And just saying, F you, hit my fastball. If you can't, here's a slider, go sit down.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
We're going to have.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that. Exactly right. All right, now, we talked about this earlier, but I wanted to mention Marcus Semien. At this point, they always do midseason awards, Major League Baseball. How can he not be the MVP of the American League at the midseason?
Well, he's leading the whole league in WAR.
Yeah, and by
all
a lot.
The baseball. And it's not
not just the American League,
No, and it's what he's done. This is what the Rangers signed. We talked about it last year ad nauseum. People were freaking out about Semien and Seager whenever they were struggling, and it's because they were the 2 highlights. They were the 2 spotlights that everybody's looking at, because obviously they signed the big contracts. Everybody's saying, "Oh, they're going to win that." No, we kept trying to say they're not, and actually they didn't sign them for this season. They signed them for the future, for next year and beyond.
That's why they signed such long deals.
That's why That's why they signed 7 and 10-year deals respectively. That is exactly why. So I don't. Now I'm gonna put it into those folks' faces that just had that knee jerk. Look, this is them. This is what you wanted to see. Yeah. Now, if you reverse it and you're bitching about what they were doing last year, if that's what they were doing this year, I'd get it. But right now, shut up and just enjoy it. Yeah, Marcus Semien right now, arguably, is the best player in baseball.
I agree.
Team.
I agree. And speaking of best players, the best rookie in baseball has to be Josh Jung.
Yep, it's not even close. I don't think it's even close.
I mean, there's a reason he's won Rookie of the Year two months in a row.
Yeah, Rookie of the Month. Yeah, 2 months.
I mean, Rookie of the Month, not Rookie of the Year. 2 months in a row. Thank you.
Man, that would be awesome.
You're on Rookie of the Year 2 months in a row.
He'd be the first one.
Rookie of the Month. That's what I meant.
He's been awesome. His third base, we knew he'd hit. Again, I'm going to go back to the defense. Way above what I expected.
He's making some fantastic plays.
Yeah, I talked about him. Hey, if he's just above average, I'll be happy. But we hadn't seen enough of it. Yeah, coming up to this point. Now we're seeing it every day. Yeah, and the guy's really good. Yeah. He could possibly be a Gold Glove third baseman. Oh yeah, maybe not this year because he's a rookie. Yeah, but going forward, he might be in those talks of, hey, this guy's one of the best fielding third basemen in the league. And I just wonder power. I still wonder. In just a minute, we're both wondering if this is just average Josh Jung. Is this the guy that we should get used to seeing on a continuous basis? And what's going to happen when he really goes on a tear?
And I've just imagined how different this team would have been last year if he would have been the starting third baseman and not gotten injured.
That's an excellent question. That's an excellent question.
Because third base was a problem for most of last year.
Yeah, and how many wins does he give you?
Yeah,
just by being in the lineup.
They might have won 75. They might have won 70, 72, 73, somewhere in there.
Yeah, they might have been in the lower 70s at least. Yep. So that's a very
you just wonder. Point. And he would have a year under his belt and be so much better this year on top of that. But still, I mean, not so much better, I guess, as good as he's playing. I don't know if he can get so much better.
Last year I was saying that was the perfect time for him to get his first full season in. Yeah. And now I'm saying this year that this is the perfect time for him, because the spotlight's not on him anymore.
Nope.
It is, but it isn't. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be it isn't what it would have been last year.
Yeah, because as that touted prospect, everyone was waiting to get here. All eyes were on him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's here, so he's just the third baseman. They're not focusing on him quite as much as they have been.
Well, yeah, and look at like Sam Huff.
Mm-hmm.
He's another guy. 2 years ago, we were talking about those guys constant. We were talking about Justin Costu constantly. Yep. We're talking about Ezekiel Durain and Josh Smith constantly.
Yeah,
because it's like we need ball players on the major league roster.
Yep.
And now we're talking about Sam Huff like he might not be a Ranger.
Yeah.
We don't know. He might be involved in a trade piece because there's nowhere for him to be.
Well, my understanding is that they've talked to him and told him that he is on the team next year. Like when Mitch Garver's contract is out, and that's if he doesn't get traded. But their plan, from what I understand, is to have Sam Huff on the team in 2024.
And that's kind of something we alluded to at the beginning of the season too. When they sent him down and he didn't make the roster initially, was Garver's just here for 1 year.
Yeah,
and next year Sam Huff can fill that role as catcher / DH and batting every day. Getting those everyday at bats and then catching. So and that again that frees you up a whole roster spot for somebody else.
Yep.
Because he's going to be doing those two positions. You don't have your set DH is Sam Huff. Your set backup catcher is Sam Huff.
Yep.
And that's the way it is right now. So it's just fun that I guess my point to that was we're not talking about guys like that in the minors anymore. We're not.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not searching for that diamond in the rough. We're not searching for the highlights of what could be. It's now.
So have we seen a Rangers pitcher in the last 10 years like Nathan Eovaldi?
Last 10?
There's been some good ones, but I can't think of anyone that had a dominant month like Nathan Eovaldi just did, except for maybe Martin Perez had some dominant times last year, but not this dominant.
No. I'm trying
the 2 complete games. I mean, the ERA below 1, and I know Martin had an ERA below 1 for a month last year, I believe, when he won pitcher of the month.
Yeah.
It might have been right over 1, but I think it was under 1.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of Cole Hamels. He never had a month like that.
No.
Darvish never had a month like that. I mean,
and I can't remember a guy we signed not to be the ace that ever had a month like Nathan Eovaldi just did.
So right now the Rangers have 2 aces.
Yeah,
they have arguably the best pitcher in baseball who's not even playing for you right now.
Yeah.
So, just saying that right now, no Rangers fan in their entire life has been able to say that.
Any team right now would take our rotation.
Oh yes.
Yeah, any team would take our rotation.
Well, if you look at it, the Rangers right now, league wide, have the 3rd lowest ERA.
Yeah.
League wide.
And that's with Heaney and Perez throwing up a couple stinkers.
Yes. As of this moment in the entire league, only 2 teams have better ERAs than you do.
Yep.
And that's with us bitching and moaning about the bullpen.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Which is just crazy, man. It is super crazy. Really is crazy.
Yeah, no, but to go back to Eovaldi, he's just last week was a down game for him. He didn't look like he had great command and all that good stuff, but he still had so much movement on everything he was throwing up there. His 2-seamer, 97 miles an hour, 98 miles an hour, 99 miles an hour is hard. I mean, you saw Javi Baez's bat splinter right. Literally sawed it right off at the knuckles.
Yep.
And that's a 2-seamer with some hair. And when he's throwing like that, I mean, even if it's not his best stuff, and he still goes out there and gives you 5, and the Ranger, 5 innings, and did he give up 1 run?
I think he gave up 1 run. Yeah,
maybe one, or maybe none.
I think it was 1. I think it was 1.
I think it was 1.
Yeah,
but and that's a bad game for him.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, what more could you ask for?
If you're a person that likes to watch pitching, you have to tune in every night that he's on the mound. Him and Dane Dunning. And I know I was going to say, CJ, and I know you are because you were a pitcher, but I know you are. But just if you love watching guys excellent at their craft, you want to catch him and you want to catch Dane Dunning right now. 2 guys that are commanding the strike zone and throwing great waste pitches that guys are swinging at.
Mm-hmm. And it starts with them being able to have command of not 1, not 2, but 3 pitches, sometimes 4.
Yep.
They're doing it at the highest level right now.
Yeah, which is amazing.
I just love the cat and mouse game. I love saying in my head or even out loud to Beltray, my dog.
Yeah.
All right, let's go 2-seam fastball inside here. Let's go. And the cat, and I love that. And what I'm seeing is, for me, is a guy guessing what pitch they're going to throw next. They're doing it, but it's because they're setting themselves up for that.
Yeah.
With number one, the command of their pitches and their command of more than 2 pitches, 3, sometimes 4, like I said. So it's just been. Again, I still have that feeling of like it's my emotions are still trying to catch up with how they are actually performing right now, because I feel like I'm being just too braggadocious because we haven't been able to do that for 5 years.
And one more thing I wanted to mention was that the Rangers, and this isn't really a surprise to either CJ or I or anyone who's in the business, once they DFA'd him, is they traded Ricky Vanasco.
Yep, and got a guy that's super young, 19 years old.
Yeah, single A pitcher. Yeah,
single A pitcher. He's going to be down east.
Yep.
And somebody had to be DFA'd.
Yep.
And me and Ben talked about it. We could see it coming, maybe not now, but we weren't surprised. We love Ricky. We've had him on the podcast. He's the one that him and John Moore from the other podcast teamed up, and that's where the whole possum thing came from.
Yep.
Bastards. But anyway, we certainly wish him well. I mean, he's still a super talented player.
Very much.
Super talented. He just got to stay healthy. He had knee surgery this year. It's had him shelved, and he's just now starting to come back. And you see the Dodgers, who are a team that's contending. There's not really anywhere for Vanasco to go, but to just show that he's still a highly touted prospect in a highly touted organization where the spotlight will be on him, and that's going to give other teams a chance to look at him.
And the deal, in my opinion, is, and we talked about this off air, is the Rangers did it for him because this gives him a chance, like you said, to showcase, to do what he can do, because he's just so blocked here. And so many people have passed him up because of the injuries. That he was so far down the food chain at this point.
Because we haven't seen enough.
Yeah, he really didn't have a chance to move up at any point in the next, this year, especially, maybe not even next year. Mm-hmm. But I think the Rangers, like they did with Trevino, they kind of did it to do a favor to him, to get him somewhere where maybe he has a chance to get on a major league roster one day. Yeah, to
be the full-time starter.
Yeah,
the no question full-time starter. They did it both for Jonah and for Jose. It was like, we got to pick one.
Yep.
We don't want to get rid of either one. But
by the way, good choice on Jonah.
Yeah.
Jose's been great too.
Yeah. So it's just but back to Ricky. The talent's there. Yeah. He's still Ricky Fuzzballs. Yep. I mean, all that's there.
It's all there.
He just hasn't been able to stay on the mound. But hopefully he goes to LA. He does very well, and in the next, I'd say maybe not this year, but next year, making his MLB debut, maybe, but at least showing and showcasing himself to other teams and to other organizations, because now he is with a team that gets media attention, gets attention like crazy. So if he starts kicking ass down there for the Dodgers, then everybody's going to know about it, and he'll be talked about more, and might go to a team that will give him a chance to start in the rotation.
I agree with you. All right.
One more thing about that is that it might have. It surprised me a little bit that it came from a contending team like the Dodgers, because there's no need for a guy. There's no chance for him to move up. But again, it goes back to that number one, new organization that doesn't feel the pressure to move him around. And number two, that relationship, if you haven't noticed over the past 3-4 years, the Rangers and Dodgers have been scratching each other's backs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Many times.
Back from the Willie Calhoun trade. Yeah.
It goes all the way back to that trade. And then you got Josh Spores and stuff like that. And was it Spores or was it, I'm thinking of somebody, DeGus is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's all right.
Brett DeGus, with that one obviously didn't work out, but the Rangers have and Dodgers have got a very, very amicable relationship, and it goes back to that Darvish trade for sure.
I agree. All right. Next week, the Rangers have the St. Louis Cardinals, and then a huge showdown in Tampa Bay this upcoming weekend to the only team they're behind right now in record. So Cardinals are okay, but not great.
They're having a very, very, very down year as far as St. Louis Cardinals standards go.
So the Rangers should be able to hopefully win 2 out of 3, at least in that series. Going to Tampa Bay, that's the one I wanted to focus on, though.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be an amazing series, CJ.
Yeah, and it's funny. 10 years ago, you're looking at somebody tells you the Rangers and Rays are going to have a showdown, of a series showdown as two of the best teams in not just the AL, but in all of baseball. Yeah. And you go,
yeah, okay, you're crazy.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
whatever.
Exactly.
Have another beer. Shut up. But
yes, it's going to be a showdown, man.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to kind of give both teams, I think, an opportunity to see where each one is compared to the other one, and it's not going to be the be all end all set all deciding factor on where they're going to be, but it's a great test here to start. Really the second third of the season against the other team who started out on record pace. Yeah,
started out way harder than we did even.
Oh, way harder.
How many did they win in a row? Do you remember?
I think it was 12.
Yeah, I think they were 12-0 before they lost a game.
It was 12 or 13. It was
crazy. Yeah,
they're 40-19. They've cooled off.
Yeah, they've cooled off. They're only 40-19.
So, but the Rangers are right behind them at 36-20, and going to be 37-20. So, I mean, this is going to be fun, and you're going to throw. Let's see, Dunning is going to pitch tomorrow.
Yep.
So you're going to throw Martin. You're going to throw Eovaldi, and you're going to throw Gray at him.
Yep.
And that's awesome. So thus far, I haven't seen who either team. They're still TBD on who they would throw. Of course, that's almost a week away.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and my thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers got swept in that series, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers swept the Rays in that series.
I was about to mention that. That's a series you could look at and be like, if the Rangers struggle, they could easily get swept.
Yep. And if the Rays struggle,
they could easily get swept. Or it could be a knockdown, drag out, excellent series, all three games, and all 3 games coming down to the last few innings.
That's what I'm hoping happens.
Yeah. And I'd love to sweep the Rays, but
obviously.
But it's just, if not, I'd love to see just an excellent series, like it's a playoff atmosphere type series. And that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it's except, they won't have the fans packed in them, or hopefully they will.
Hopefully they'll have more than they usually have, since they're the best team in the American League right now.
It seems like they never fill that stadium until
they don't. They don't. But anyway, that is going to be fantastic. Can't wait. I think that'll wrap it up for us today. Looking forward to that series. We'll probably do, I don't know. I think I'm going to reach out and see if we can get a Tampa Bay guy on Thursday before that series starts and do a series preview, another series preview episode. You guys really seem to like that series preview we did with Mark from the Baltimore Orioles site. So we're going to try to do a little bit more of that as well, a little season preview podcast episodes. So anyway, all that said, it was a good show, I think, CJ, and we will talk. We will talk next week.
Hey, also, did you see real quick on June 13th? It's going to be Indiana Jonah bobblehead night.
I didn't see that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, get your butts out to the park on Tuesday.
Indiana
grab
Jonah.
One of those, and have somebody that take your family, get a whole bunch of them. Send me one.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we would enjoy that very much so.
With that, deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Ranger Report podcast. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and at therangerreport.com.